Hey folks, welcome back to fishing. I got an email a couple of days ago from a young guy in Oak Ridge, Tennessee named Connor. Wanted to know how to identify bluegill. Well, let's go over that. All right, first things first, we'll go over the world record right now. 4 pounds, 12 ounces out of Alabama. This is an enormous bluegill. Largest one I've ever caught is probably about maybe 9, maybe 10 ounces, not even a pound. I couldn't even fathom a 4-pound brim. Now there's several of them that are close, but I don't know that any of them will ever break 4 pounds, 12 ounces. I mean, you're looking at close to a 5-pound, bluegill just to break the record. That record's been around for over 50 years, and I think it'll hold for another 50. Tennessee record on bluegill is 3 pounds even, and that's actually held by 2 different people. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I do know that it's a dual record that 2 people actually hold it. One was out of a lake and one was out of a farm pond, but 3 pounds, pretty good sized brim too. Mississippi's record is a 3.5 pound bluegill out of Blue Mountain, Mississippi. And those are the records. Like I said, you're from Tennessee, so there you go, Connor. That's what you got to beat if you're bluegill hunting, man. First thing, you're looking at all bluegill have scales. I think Connor said it was 12. I don't know how much bluegill fishing he's done, but it's a scale fish. It's oval shaped. It's a lot thinner than it is tall. You're looking at about 1 inch, sometimes 1.5 inches thick on some of the slabs, but really that's about as big as a bluegill is going to get as far as overall thickness. Now, standard size on a bluegill is anywhere from about 4 to actually 8 inches in total length. Now, the world record one was 15 inches long. That's substantial size bluegill. I don't know what they was feeding that thing or where it was caught at, but I know it was in Alabama. It's a massive bluegill. The bluegill is the most common freshwater fish in North America, just because of its breeding habits. They start in about March and go up all the way up to in August. I think that's just really the reason that they're as popular as they are. They're easy to catch when they're spawning. If you come across a bed of them, man, it's a lot of fun. But anyway, identifying brim, that was your question. You're going to see there is a blackish blue dot right behind the gill plate. There's several fish in the sunfish family that have markings behind the gill plate. Bluegill is the only one that has that dark blackish blue dot right behind the gill plate, because they come in all kinds of colors. They come in green, blue, purple, orange. It really depends on when they're spawning, whether it's a male or female, the clarity of the water, where they're at, what they're feeding on. There's all kinds of different things that can change the color of a bluegill, but they always have that bluish black dot right behind the gill plate. So if it's bluish blackish dot, it's a bluegill. But while we're on the subject of bluegills, it's always what they call a starter fish. Easy to catch. The tackle's easy, the rod and reel's easy. You can catch these things on a cane pole. Doesn't really matter. 4 foot, 10 feet off the bank. It's easy. It's simple. That's the main thing. It's simple. You don't have to have a great big rod. You're not pulling in 100-pound fish, and you got to have all this heavy line and fancy knots and all that. Bluegill fishing's always fun, but just because it's simple. You can take a kid. You don't have to have. Me and my son used to go, and we would bring line. We'd bring our terminal tackle. We'd bring the hooks. We'd bring the little lead and everything, and that'll fit in your pocket. We'd pick up a stick along the way and just tie the line on the end of the stick, go bluegill fishing. We used to do it all the time. And it's quick, easy. It's less hassle. You don't have to drag a boat around, really. You can just fish around the edge of the bank. Nothing to it. Where to find bluegill? Bluegill are actually native to North America. That's where they originate from. Now, these things have been spread all over the world. They are using bluegill to actually feed some of the larger fish in a lot of bodies of water all over the world. There's bluegill in Europe. I know they've got some in Australia, South Africa, they just started putting in bluegill. And they're using these to increase populations on some of the larger fish that they use for sport fish. And they populate so fast. They're almost like jackrabbits, you know. They breed a lot, make a lot of babies, and what they do is they populate so fast, there's always, as long as you've got structure for them to cling to, there's always going to be bluegill. Once you introduce them, it's hard to get them out, which leads to my second thing. There's a couple countries, Japan being one of them, where bluegill are actually outlawed. It's against the law to have them. They've been trying to get them out of the waters. They're considered an invasive species over there just because they're so hard to get rid of, and they're affecting some of the natural fish populations over there. So bluegill here in the United States, great thing. We love it. It fits in great, but in some countries where they've been introduced, they're doing everything they can to get rid of it, and it's a hard thing to do once they're in there. Bluegill travel in schools of 10 to 20 fish normally. Now, I have came upon places right out here in Lake Washington here in Mississippi, and I found schools of 40, 50, 60 fish at a time. And I mean, you can just about just chunk your hook in the water and not even have a thing on it and catch bluegill. Because if you catch them spawning, what they're doing is the males are in there and they're just keeping the spawning area clean, and anything that falls in that water, they're picking it up and moving it. They're not necessarily biting your hook or the bait. They're keeping their area clean for the eggs and for the fish to get fertilized, and they're making a nice little bed to make new brim. They're going to be around structure. They are not an open water fish. You're not going to find them just scattered out in open water like you do a catfish that's strolling by, going from one place and one feeding place to another. Brim normally congregate to one area, and that's really where they stay at. They don't travel far from home at all. They're not a traveling fish. Once they find structure, they will actually grow up, grow old, breed, and die in that same general area. They're not travelers, and they stick to structure. Man-made or natural, you're going to have trees down. What I fish a lot of are where trees come over the water from the bank, and they have the tops of the trees that have actually gone down in the water. I love fishing that because you can kind of see where the edge of it is, because if you chunk too far, you're going to get hung up. But if you fish right along the edge of that structure, even if it's docks, piers, little boat landings, where the stumps are, where where the main pylons are, where docks used to be, anything that's in the water, brim will congregate to it. In floodwaters, this is a good one. In floodwaters, what you want to do is, if you've got a field that's flooded, you can look out through that whole field along the edge of them. We have it here in Mississippi. We have basic areas that are designed to flood when we have floodwaters. If you've got a tree line around the edge of a field and that thing normally floods, man, you can go down that tree line when the water's up. All the brim will move out of that heavy current water into those tree lines and just fish along those tree lines, wear them out. Where most people say, oh, the water's too high, you can't go fishing. They just don't know what to fish for or how to fish it. You head down those tree lines, man, you'll wear out some brim. Still water is where you're going to find the highest congregation of your brim. Out of current areas, anywhere from 2 to probably 6 foot of water, and they want waters between 60 and 80 degrees. That's where they're happy at. They don't like direct sunlight, but they like warm water. If they are adjacent to some deeper water, a lot of times they'll rest in that deeper water at night and then come into the thinner water earlier in the morning, because the sun hits it, it warms up faster, and they're going to try to congregate towards structure in those shallower water areas. And your best fishing is going to be between daylight and about 10, 11 in the morning, just before lunchtime, when the water gets really hot, because then they'll start coming down in the water column some, and you'll see them less on the surface. What it is, that water on the top of the surface warms up faster, and they're eating those bugs and worms and everything across the top of the surface. They'll even eat algae. But they're eating all of that early in the morning, and once that surface water gets to the point to where it's really not comfortable, they'll start dropping down in the water column, and then you want to fish a little deeper. But that's really when you want to hit them. If you're brim fishing, is be there right at daylight. And one of the things you may notice when you're brim fishing, when you're in shallower waters, and a lot of times you can actually see the brim beds from the boat, just looking straight down. You're going to find a bunch of circles that are anywhere from 10 to 12, 14 inches, just straight circles. That's where the males are making the bed for the female to lay their eggs at. And a female is going to lay anywhere between 1,000 to about 100,000 eggs if it's a mature, adult, healthy female. And they're going to guard that little area. And you're going to catch a lot more fish when they're spawning, because they're just trying to keep that bed clean. They're not necessarily biting the bait because they're feeding. They're just trying to keep the area clean. So anything that kind of bounces across that bottom while they're spawning is going to get hit. You can catch brim without even putting any bait on your hook at this point in time, because really they're just hitting it very aggressive at this time. They're just hitting anything, trying to keep their area clean. So it'll increase their odds of reproduction. But up under the bottom of their bellies on the males during this time, it's going to be a reddish orange color, bright from their lip all the way down to their tail. It's a bright red orange color. Well, here in North America, bluegill are in the sunfish family, and there's over 20 different species of sunfish, but bluegill's always been the most popular. But one other thing you may find interesting is bluegill are one of the few fish species that can actually swim backwards. If you're ever on Jeopardy, you may need that. But anyway, a little number 6 or number 8 hook, a small piece of split shot on the end of your fishing line. You can use a pole, you can use a stick, you can use a cane pole, whatever you want to use. 8 to 10 feet off the bank, in some structure, you'll catch bluegill. So anyway, Connor, hope this helps out. I think I have dumped all of my bluegill knowledge out here today. But anyway, this is James Downs with Fishing, and y'all go fishing.